Welcome back to Indalo Model Railway. Well, I'm actually going to be doing some weathering, and it's going to be weathering on the track, and I wanted to make a batch of paint, a rust colour that would actually complement the weathered rust look on some of the steel rails. Now, I've had these couple that I mixed up some time ago here. Since then, I've brought these airbrush paints. There's a brown there and a black there that I'm going to use for the grime a little bit later. But these two was a very light rusty colour that I made up and a very dark earthy brown. And what I've done, I've mixed the two together in a quantity that I believe does come up to like a rust colour. Now, really just to test this, because obviously to the naked eye, it might just look like, just some yucky brown paint. So what I thought I'd do is actually just compare it. Now, the best way to compare it is with normal rust. So on my back patio here, I actually have an old IKEA shelf that I use for garden stuff. As you can see, it's got a lot of rust on the surface. This is normal rust. Now, if I was to take just a little bit of this and put it near the normal rust, obviously spread it out a little bit, it's not too far off of the real thing. Maybe a little bit darker, maybe I need a little bit lighter, but bearing in mind behind this rust that's already here is a white background. So if I was to actually use this colour, I think I'm going to be pretty much near enough there on for making it myself. So I'm going to go ahead now and fill up my airbrush and get all these tracks weathered, and I'll let you know how it looks as we go along. It actually looks like in the sunlight a little bit like tomato soup. I'm not going to be drinking it or eating it. Anyway, stay with me and I'll show you how I weather the tracks. Welcome back to Indalo. Well, I've actually masked off all of the platform and the back in preparation for the track to actually have its weathering done. Now, I've prepared here a solution of dirt and rust that I've mixed up. That's probably the right colour that I think will work well. So I'm going to have a go at this with my trusted airbrush and compressor, and let you see how it turns out. So wish me luck, here it goes. So that's how it's looking. Maybe needed a couple more coats. Bearing in mind all of the turnouts I have on here are Electrofrog, so I don't really need to cover them. So there's going to be no problem with the actual contact. But I will go over this a couple of times just to really tone it down and give it some weathering away from that newness that you have looking on the track there. And I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Always hard to hold a camera and an airbrush at the same time. So I've done the first coat of the weathering of the fiddle yard. You see it's got a bit of a browny tone, which is like the dirt and earth. This is probably showing up quite bright actually, because the flash is actually, or the light has come on the video camera. But I think once I actually get the grime in some of the sleepers in as well, some sleeper grime. I've done a little bit on this one, you see, like along there. But once I get these other tracks, all the sleeper grime done where needed on more of the active lines, not so much the lines where the carriages are, but maybe like where they pull out the station, this one here, and that one I've actually Done a bit of grime as well in the middle, but I think I'm going to actually do a bit more along there where diesel spills, that sort of thing, just to get more of a blended look. It looked like it's just had a line run along this one. Looks like something has been leaking all the way along, and I want to actually have it more even like it is on these. So I'm gonna do that next, and I'll give you an update on how it looks. Hello and welcome back to Indalo. Well, I've finished all of the weathering now and cleaned the tops of the track up so they're nice and shiny. So there's lots of contact there. So what I've done, a two-stage weathering process. Firstly, to actually focus in there, to put a rust colour on the rails. And obviously some of that is spilled over as well into the actual gravel. And then after that, I've gone over it with a sleeper grime that makes it look like all of the sleepers are actually got oil and dirt inside. And that's the fueling station, all made by my own fair hands. Got this little nozzle there to fill up the wagons, and a little water spout as well, and a box where it comes from underground. So it will come from underground, and my plan is to situate these two holding tanks here, and I'm going to do a little pipe out of there into the ground, so they go underneath the ground up through there, and then it comes around the back. You see that black pipe there, get my finger in the right way there, and then that pipe comes across the top down into the system, up, through and out. So there is a path all the way there for it. This grating here is obviously all been weathered as well. There's obviously lots of diesel and oil spills here, as there is when the locomotives come into this fueling station here as well. So what I've got to do now is actually do some further scenery in here. I think in here I'm going to maybe just put some soil rather than grass. I thought about this last night and I thought it's too small really for grass in that area, because nowhere can you get to it to maintain it. Unlike a larger area like this over here, where you could probably, mow it if you was in the model world. Here I'm going to actually put some grass area here, maybe going off to a little bit of a soil area, and here's going to be probably when I say a soil, like an earthy colour as well. Now the colours I'm going to use, or what I'm going to use on this is the like earth, soil, mud, and it comes out. I've done a little bit of a test looking like that. So it's not too bad. I mean, it'll look better, I'm sure, when it's all blended in with the grass. And I've got some grass here as well, some various different types of grass that I'm going to use. This is a grass flock that's it's green turf, between 4 to 6 millimeters. So there's that, and I've also got a couple more colours as well that I normally tend to blend in the darker and the lighter, and it should actually come out looking a little bit like this has. Obviously you've got the small spring flowers that are coming up as well. If you notice, they're the wild flowers that I've put on different parts of the layout as well, just to make it a bit more realistic. So I'm going to finish off all of this scenery from here, down there, around here, all of this around here, Put some earth, definitely some earth is going to go at the back, some earthy dust, because this is an area where I will probably have a lorry here, maybe a tanker to fill up these. Well, it could be filled up two ways, I'm sure. You can either have a loco come in to fill up these sub stations, or probably just I'll have a lorry parked here, a tanker, a big tanker that can fill up these as well. So that's going to be more of a not a grass, but more of a like a dirt track type, you know, earth scene there. And as I say, here I'm going to probably put the grasses and a blend of all of these, really, just to actually get some contrast on there as well. So I'm going to get on with that now. I've got some other bits as well that I can, if I bring them over, blend in there as well, depending on how I finish it. So I've got all this stuff here. I've got some bush as well. So yeah, lots of stuff to actually play with and just get the look and feel that I like. So I'm going to get on and do that now, and I'll show you what it's like after